Hey y'all, it's Kim. So the Palm Beach Post, I think they're the ones that filed a lawsuit back in like 2024 to have the grand jury documents released, and I've already done a video on it for Palm Beach County. But anyway, this is from July 8th, 2024. It says Jeffrey Epstein timeline, how the Palm Beach County case led to 15 more years of sex abuse. If they had done something and gotten him actually in jail in 2005 or whatever it was, 2006, then all these other people wouldn't have been abused. But anyway, so it says Jeffrey Epstein's saga began and could have ended in Palm Beach County in 2006. The Palm Beach Post sued in 2019 to find out why it didn't. Okay, so it's 2019. So that, yeah, but I don't think the documents were actually released until 2024. I think that's the timeline, but you'd have to go back and like look at the actual grand jury document on the first page. I think it tells you the timeline of how it worked. But anyway, so the Palm Beach Post sued in 2019 to find out why it didn't. Now, secret documents detailing what happened 17 years ago when Epstein was indicted on only a single prostitution charge could become public under a new state law. The Jeffrey Epstein case began in Palm Beach County in 2005, though it was later revealed in Ghislaine Maxwell's criminal case that his sexual abuse of children here began a decade earlier. In the 1990s, Maxwell enlisted Epstein's chauffeur and traveled all over the county to find girls for Epstein. She picked up one of the most spotlighted ones, Virginia Roberts Giuffre, at Mar-a-Lago, where the 15-year-old and her father worked. By the mid 2000s, Maxwell apparently participated less in that mission for Epstein. The easy case focused, or good grief, I'm sorry. The early case focused on Epstein's network of middle and high school age girls. Oh my goodness. Epstein bought his mansion on El Brio Way in Palm Beach in 1990. Since his death, it has been sold and demolished. The police investigation of Jeffrey Epstein begins, and this is 2005. It says March 14th, molestation of a 14-year-old reported to police. The stepmother of a 14-year-old girl who attends Royal Palm Beach High School reports to police on the island of Palm Beach that her stepdaughter has been molested by a wealthy man. The stepmother tells a detective that supposedly a man has a lot of money and often has young girls come to his house. The girls, in tears, tells the detective that she was taken upstairs to give Epstein a massage. When Epstein came into the room wearing only a towel, he sternly told the girl to take her clothes off. She stripped down to her bra and a thong. As she massaged him, he masturbated. Afterward, he paid her $300. The next day, she got into a fight at school after another girl called her a prostitute, and she never went back to Epstein's mansion. Police began interviewing more girls who led them to others who say Jeffrey Epstein had molested or raped them. October 20th, the police searched Epstein's home. Missing in the search at 358 El Brio Way are several computers which police believe possibly contain names and photos of victims. Palm Beach detective Joseph Roccheri says he believes Epstein was tipped off about the search and that the computers were in the vault of an Epstein attorney. Later, federal prosecutors would try to get those computers. Marie Villafana, the chief federal prosecutor, said she suspected child porn was on them. December 19th, Epstein's legal dream team arrives. Defense lawyers swoop in. Palm Beach County State Attorney Barry Kreischer, Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz, who had helped to successfully defend O.J. Simpson 10 years earlier, hands him the MySpace pages of several victims, which mention sex, drinking, and drugs. Other defense lawyers include local powerhouses such as Jack Goldberger and Roy Black, as well as nationally known attorneys Gerald Lefcourt, and Kenneth Starr. Let's see. 2006, How Jeffrey Epstein Gets Indicted. February 22nd through 23rd, MySpace pages. First grand jury schedule. 3 victims are scheduled to testify. Though the Palm Beach police find more victims, only 3 are scheduled to testify. Former Palm Beach Police Chief Michael Reeder recalled later that prosecutors told him they wouldn't level charges for any victim 16 years old or older unless it was under extraordinary circumstances, meaning rape. Prosecutors canceled grand jury in order to assess MySpace pages. And this is the Joseph Carey guy. So April 1st, victims tell detective that they and their families are being hounded by Epstein paid private eyes. One victim's father tells Detective Carey that private eyes are harassing his family, even running them off the road. Another says an Epstein source contacted her and said those who help him will be compensated and those who hurt him will be dealt with. Carey reports the incidents to the state attorney's office, and a witness tampering can be a crime and nothing happens. April 17th, deal for probation offer. Another grand jury schedule for April 18th to 19th is canceled. Prosecutors and Epstein's lawyers try to negotiate a guilty plea to aggravated assault that carried no jail time. Epstein rejects it. May 1st, Kreischer's objectivity questioned by Palm Beach Police Chief. Police Chief Reeder questions the highly unusual way Kreischer is handling the case, suggesting Kreischer might want to disqualify himself. Child sex crimes prosecutor Dahlia Weiss, I don't know how you say it, now a circuit court judge, bows out after Epstein hires her husband's law firm. She is known to be a hard-nosed prosecutor on the child sex crimes unit. Dahlia Weiss, whatever, now is circuit court judge. Okay, Carey sends prosecutors a proposed arrest document that lists 5 victims of felonies, girls who were under 16 or those who'd been raped. There were many victims aged 16 and older who told police they'd been sexually abused, but they were listed as witnesses because of the state law at the time. If convicted of the felonies against all 5 victims and given the maximum sentence on each, Epstein could have been sentenced to 75 years in prison. Wow. May 23rd, the FBI and federal prosecutors enter the picture. Reeder and Carey, concerned about how the state attorney was handling the case, start talking to the FBI and federal prosecutors about taking over. Indictment, a true bill, in the name of and by the authority of the state of Florida, in the circuit court of the 15th Judicial Circuit of the state of Florida for Palm Beach County at the spring term thereof in the year of the Lord 2006, to wit, the grand jurors of the state of Florida inquiring in and for the body of said county of Palm Beach upon their oaths do present that Jeffrey E. Epstein is in the county of Palm Beach aforesaid in the circuit and state aforesaid. Count 1, felony solicitation of prostitution on or about or between the first day of August in the year of the Lord 2004 and October 31st, 2005. Did solicit, induce, entice, or procure another to commit prostitution, lewdness, or assignation, contrary to Florida Statute 796.07, on 3 or more occasions between August 1st, 2004 and October 31st, 2005, contrary to Florida Statute 796.07, 2F and 4C, 3, like a third degree felony, level 1, against the form of the statute to the evil example of all others. I think that's what that says. And against the peace and dignity of the state of Florida, I hereby certify that I've advised a grand jury returning this indictment as authorized and required by law. And then It's basically got all of his information there. Okay, so July 19th, grand jury indicts Epstein on a single solicitation of prostitution charge. Prosecutor Lana Belalovic, I can't say her name, presents the case to a grand jury with only one victim testifying. Belalovic, I think that's how you say it. I've read her name in the papers, so it's kind of like I can't remember how I pronounced it. Attacks the 14-year-old's credibility with her MySpace pages given to prosecutors by the defense. The grand jury indicts Epstein on a felony charge of solicitation of prostitution, what a John propositioning an adult sex worker might face. The charge doesn't address the 14-year-old's age. July 23rd, Epstein is arrested. Epstein spends one night in the Palm Beach County jail. He's released the next day on $3,000 bond, which is probably like nothing to him. Okay, 2007, negotiating the secret deal not to prosecute Epstein. September 24th, deal of the century is signed. Epstein signs what became known as the non-prosecution agreement called the deal of the century with federal and state authorities in exchange for pleading guilty to 2 felony prostitution-related charges under Kreischer. The deal requires Epstein to register as a sex offender. It also protects 4 named co-conspirators as well as any potential co-conspirators. Then the real negotiation begins among Kreischer federal prosecutors and Epstein's lawyers. Chief Federal Prosecutor Villafana stands ready several times to launch a 6-count felony or federal indictment that came from a federal grand jury investigation. And this is a Palm Beach County stockade. That sounds more like an animal thing. Okay, in July 2019, where sex offender, sex predator, whatever, Jeffrey Epstein spent mostly his nights. So he got to check in and out. Okay, 2008, Epstein pleads guilty and goes to jail. January 10th, victims deceived with FBI letter. The FBI sends a letter, to victims urging patience while they conducted thorough investigation. It does not say the federal investigation is already over because of the non-prosecution agreement signed in September. Wow. All right. All right. June 30th, Epstein pleads guilty to 2 felonies. Epstein pleads guilty to the grand jury's charge of solicitation of prostitution and Kreischer's charge of solicitation of a minor for prostitution. Instead of potential decades in federal prison, he's sentenced to 18 months in jail. He would serve 13 months of his sentence in a private wing of the Palm Beach County Jail reserved for snitches or others who need protection from other inmates for various reasons, such as having a lot of money. He would spend mainly nights there, leaving on work release 6 days a week, 12 hours a day. One woman said later that she was flown in to have sex with him at the offices of a foundation he'd formed months before his guilty plea. 2009, Epstein out of jail, and did he violate his house arrest? July 22nd, he can travel anywhere if he's back in 24 hours. Epstein is released from jail to spend a year on house arrest, but he's allowed to travel frequently, such as to his private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands, as long as he's back in 24 hours. His lawyers asked to end house arrest early, a request rejected by Kreischer's successor, Michael McAuliffe. A few potential violations of house arrest are documented in state attorneys' files, but no one takes action. A violation could have sent Epstein back to jail. 2019, New York prosecutors charged Epstein with sex trafficking. July 6, Epstein arrested in New Jersey. New York prosecutors charge him with sex trafficking related to incidents in Palm Beach and New York. He's arrested in Teterboro Airport in New Jersey, reportedly a hub of his sex trafficking network, after flying in from Paris. In a nationally televised news conference, former U.S. Attorney and Secretary of Labor, Alex Acosta, blames Kreischer for bungling the case, and then Acosta later resigns. August 10th, Epstein is found dead. The financier is found hanged in a Manhattan jail cell. The medical examiner rules it a suicide. 2020, it's Ghislaine Maxwell's turn. July 2nd, Epstein's former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, is arrested. Federal prosecutors in New York charged Ghislaine Maxwell with conspiracy to commit sex trafficking of minors, saying she helped recruit the underage girls that Epstein sexually abused in New York and Palm Beach and sometimes participated in abuse herself. The cases in Palm Beach County reached back to the mid 1990s. 2021, Ghislaine Maxwell on trial. December 30th, Maxwell is found guilty. After a month-long trial, Maxwell is found guilty of several charges, including sex trafficking, conspiracy, and transportation of a minor for illegal sexual activity. Four victims testified against her, including Carolyn Andriano, who's from Palm Beach County and met Epstein when she was 14. 2022, Maxwell begins her prison term in Tallahassee. June 28th, Maxwell in Tallahassee prison. Maxwell is sentenced to 20 years in federal prison. She's serving her time at a low security prison in Tallahassee. Her release date is July of 2037. She's teaching etiquette classes that focus on respect, consideration, and honesty, according to the class description. And then let's see. It says Jeffrey Epstein post award-winning coverage of Palm Beach sexual predator. Oh, there's a bunch of documents in here. Ew. We can keep digging. It says if you or someone you know has been a victim of sexual assault, the Palm Beach County Victim Services and Rape Crisis Center can help. Reach their helpline at 561-833-7273 or toll free at 866-891-7273. Anyway, I'll keep digging because we should not let this go. But anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good day. Bye.